All right, my yoga onliners. So I am Matt, and we are here with Gloria today, just asking a couple questions about her yoga practice and her teaching. So we will start. So thank you so much, Gloria, for coming on.
Thanks, Matt.
And so, at what point in your life were you introduced to yoga, and how has your own personal yoga practice changed you? And we can talk about Kundalini specifically.
Okay. So when was I introduced to yoga? For years, a friend who was also a naturopathic physician kept recommending to me that I do yoga. And I kept saying what I hear from our students all the time: I don't have time to do yoga. And until you hit a life crisis. And then you realize you have to start taking time for yourself. Mm-hmm. So for me, it started with a video. I was having a really tough time, and for lots of reasons. And I finally started to get it, that I had to do something, and I had that message from my naturopath running through my head to try a class. So I didn't have time to try a class, so I went and I grabbed a video, and I snuck out of work, and I went home, and I did a 15-minute video.
I think that's how a lot of us begin, yeah.
And then I got up off the floor of my living room, and I felt like I really had to understand what I had just experienced. It was so profound for me. So I walked straight out my door and signed up for teacher training.
Wow, that's incredible.
And what was actually really interesting for me was, at the time, I didn't know anything about different styles of yoga. There was so little yoga in the community. In fact, I went to the only studio I knew, which was a Kundalini studio. And I'm really thankful that I did research about yoga at the time. I wasn't looking at it as a career move, or I wasn't intending to quit my day job and become a teacher or anything like that. I just knew I had to understand what I had just experienced, because it was so profound for me, and I knew that I needed that in my life. And so I had to beg the teacher to allow me to do the course, because, of course, that was ridiculous, because I'd never taken a class before. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah. But she knew me personally, and so she had a lot of, faith in when I said I was serious about this. She understood that I was. And so she allowed me to take the program with her, and it changed my life.
Yeah. Can you talk about, from that very first experience, how that was and how that's morphed or changed over time through doing your practice and through teaching others?
One of the most profound things for me when I did the practice, when I did the training and everything, I actually had a real level of frustration, or I was almost angry, actually, because I thought, there's all these people out there that know how powerful these techniques are for us to live a better life, and I didn't know. How come no one told me? And so that became a big driving force for me. I want people to know they can feel better immediately, not in weeks, months, years, immediately. Wow. And so that was a real driving force for doing what we did. When I started the program, I had no intention of teaching. I didn't know why I was doing it. I knew that I was doing it because it made me feel better, and I needed to understand what it was that was making me feel better. And as I went along, there was this deep desire to share. And then several years later, we found ourselves with 4 yoga studios, international teacher training programs, retreats, and we host some of the world's best yogis at Semper Viva. We've developed relationships with Sean Korn and Shiva Ray and Guna Mook and Max Strom, and it's been such a gift to study and to work with these people.
That is absolutely incredible. Do you have a ritual before teaching a class, or, for instance, a specific mantra that you would chant?
Preparing for class is always really interesting to me, because I always prepare for class. Before I go into class, I'll look at lots of different kriyas and different meditations, and look at different mantras I could use. And then I arrive in class, and I don't think I've ever once taught what I prepared for that particular class. How can you? When you walk into the room, it is what it is. So the most important thing is to keep doing your own practice, so that you're centered and clear, so when you arrive, you know what work needs to be done.
For sure. I love that. That's wonderful. Yeah, it's a ever changing process.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely, driving you that day.
Yeah, it has to be. It's too,
awesome.
it's too much of an internal thing. So.
Yeah. Well, that's when you know that you're like the most plugged in, I think, too.
Yeah.
To source or whatever you want to
Yeah.
call it is when you're able to pull that up. That was Gloria once again, and thank you so much, Gloria.
Thanks,
and
Matt.
more to come. Thanks a lot, guys.